No, I'm just saying, do you want to wait for people, would you? Pardon?
I was going to put a suit on and I was sort of getting ready last night.
Hold on tight by ELO to begin our service today. It was nice to see some heads bobbing and some toes tapping. I'm sure Maureen would thoroughly have approved of that today. Good morning and welcome to our celebration for the life of Maureen Christine Stewart. My name is Emma, and along with the staff from Peter Murray Funerals, we will be pleased to assist you this morning in any way that we can. At the conclusion of our service, you are warmly invited to join Maureen's family for refreshments at the Bairnsdale RSL Club to continue to offer your support and to share in your own memories of Maureen. And ladies and gentlemen, those phones in our pockets and in our handbags, can we please ensure that they are switched off or placed on silent? Today we come to honour and pay tribute to Maureen, a woman who has made her own unique impact on the lives of those who she has loved and cared for. And as we gather here in the chapel, there are some family members and friends who cannot be here with us and who are watching our service via the live stream. It is at this time that we acknowledge and send our heartfelt condolences to Maureen's family in Ireland. But to all of you joining us via this medium, we hope that you are able to feel an engaged member of this congregation despite the distances and time zones which may separate us. I leave my memory to you with love. I leave my thought, my laughter, my dreams to you whom I have treasured. I give you what no thief can steal, the memories of our times together, the tender moments, the successes we have shared, the hard times that brought us closer together, and the road that we have walked side by side. And all I take with me as I leave is your love and the millions of memories of all that we have shared. So I truly enter my new life as a millionaire. Fear not, nor grieve my departure, you whom I have loved so much, for my roots and yours are forever intertwined. On behalf of Lorraine, Glenn, Mike, and all of Maureen's greater extended family, we thank you for your presence and your support, be it here in person or via the live stream. The death of Maureen is what brings us together today. We offer our love to her family and reassure them that they are not alone, that we are with them as they embark on a new and unfamiliar path without Maureen by their side. Maureen has been a part of this world for over 90 years, and during her time she has made her own indelible mark on the lives of her family, her friends, and her local community. And this is what brings us together today. A daughter, a sister, a partner to Mike, a mother to Lorraine and Glenn, a mother-in-law to Alec and Paula, a grandmother of 5 and a great-grandmother of 7, Maureen was also a respected, extended family member and a true and loyal friend. Losing someone we love brings with it a sense of something coming to an end, and there will be no more conversations, laughs or confidences shared with them. No more sharing our latest news or seeking their advice. Your connection with Maureen now transitions from the physical here and now and into the realms of treasured memory and one-way conversations. But the relationship that you have shared with Maureen does not end with her death, and nor does it cease after our service here today. It just changes shape, and it will continue to endure so long as Maureen is loved and remembered. Now, I have mentioned that Maureen was a part of this world for over 90 years, and whilst it is not considered polite to discuss a lady's age, I hope she will forgive me on this one special occasion, as we recall the life that she has lived and celebrate the aspects of Maureen's nature which have made her the woman that you have known and loved. Maureen's story begins on the 4th of December in Ballygurrowan in Athenry in the east of Ireland, as the world was slowly emerging from the years of the Great Depression. Maureen was to be one of 6 siblings consisting of 3 boys and 3 girls to parents Joseph and Nora Burke. Joseph was a farmer, whilst Nora took care of the children and kept things going on the home front. She grew up in Athenry with her siblings Bid, Joe, Tony, James and Rose. Originally born as Mary, Maureen decided to change her name. When she went to the local Catholic school, which was administered by the nuns, there were understandably many Marys amongst the students, and so to differentiate herself, she took on the name of Maureen, and this was how she was to be known for the rest of her life. An intelligent girl, Maureen was not a great fan of the harsh discipline dished out by the nuns during her schooling years. When meeting some nuns in a social setting many decades later and on the other side of the world, she was pleasantly shocked to find that they drank beer, followed football fanatically, and were generally good company to be in. On leaving school, Maureen found a job in retail, the beginning of a career which has served her well during her entire working life. As Maureen entered adulthood, her sister Bid and husband John were living in Birmingham in England. Maureen followed them, making the move with a friend. This enabled her to be close to her sister and brother-in-law and build a strong relationship with her nephew Sean. It was while living and working in Birmingham that Maureen noted many of life's milestones. And without a doubt, the most important was becoming a mother to Lorraine and Glenn. Maureen was a devoted mother and her children were always her first priority. With the assisted passenger scheme, Maureen and her family boarded a plane in September of 1969 and became what is colloquially known here as a 10-pound pom. On arrival to Australia, they lived in an immigration hostel in Preston. Maureen hated this time at the hostel with its communal bathrooms and dining areas, but fortunately they were only there for a week or 2. They soon settled into a block of flats in Chadstone, where the vast Chadstone shopping centre complex now stands. Maureen made friends with their neighbours, many of whom were also new arrivals to Australia, including Yvonne, Alan, Eileen and Howard, all becoming adopted aunts and uncles to each other's children and integral members of their extended families. Family holidays were primarily camping trips around regional Victoria, including Bright and Yarram. When camping in the Grampians, or Garryword as it is now known, Maureen heard a koala growl for the very first time. Not knowing what was making this strange guttural noise, Maureen emerged from the tent on high alert to be confronted by another new Australian, a Greek woman, who was also expecting to confront a rather large animal, being armed as she was with a rather hefty-looking frying pan. When camping in Walhalla, their campsite was descended upon by a group of trail bikers. An intimidating bunch, Maureen momentarily thought that this may be where her story was going to end. But proving that you can't judge a book by its cover, they ended up being perfectly charming, and Maureen enjoyed a lovely chat with some of their group. Maureen was only ever to make one return back to Ireland, and that was in 1984 when her mother suffered a stroke. After moving around the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, Maureen was eventually able to put down some more permanent roots in Upper Ferntree Gully. She continued working in retail, specialising in shoe shops, and this was how she was able to support herself and her children. Maureen worked incredibly hard to make sure that Lorraine and Glenn had everything they required, and thanks to her determination, she succeeded. With Lorraine's marriage to Alec and Glenn's marriage to Paula, Maureen now found herself becoming a mother-in-law. Now, there is that traditional joke about mothers-in-laws being dragons, but thankfully for Alec and Paula, this was definitely not the case. Maureen was delighted that her children had found happiness with these two special people, and they had each shared a close relationship with her. As the years went by, Maureen became a grandmother to her 5 grandchildren, Kalia, Sean, Tennille, Georgia Lee and Cordelia. A proud nan, she loved to spoil her grandchildren, and she would tell each of them individually that they were her favourite. Some of them would stay with Maureen during the school holidays. After being thoroughly spoilt, and the children then returned home, they had a rude shock to discover that they were no longer served hot chocolate or breakfast in bed, something which Lorraine referred to as nanny re-education. When Maureen met Mike, she found the support and companionship she had been missing through her life. This came about thanks to mutual friends. They had been together for over 3 decades and have enjoyed a happy life together, with Mike lovingly referring to Maureen as the boss. Mike's family also became an extension of Maureen's family, and she enjoyed spending time with them. It was Mike's family which prompted them to make the move to Painesville, and they happily settled into this community where they lived for over 20 years. Maureen was to welcome the latest generation of her family with the arrival of her 7 great-grandchildren, Gemma, Jake, Jensen, Isabella, Ben, Franklin and William. She was so proud to carry the title of great-grandmother, giving herself the name of G-Nan, because she wanted something that sounded cool. She loved her grandchildren and now great-grandchildren with every fibre of her being, and she delighted in having them all around her and sharing a cuddle with them. A little over a year ago, Maureen transitioned into care at Sale Gardens as she was now becoming more susceptible to falls. She eventually settled into new routines and accepted that she needed to be there, quickly becoming a favourite amongst the staff. Her daughter Kalia worked there and would not put up with any of her nonsense, even if Maureen was her grandmother. Maureen countered this by affectionately calling her the bulldog, which later became the sergeant. In December of last year, Maureen celebrated her 90th birthday at Lorraine and Alec's home. She had a wonderful day with her family all around her. As the matriarch of the family, Maureen was in her element, enjoying the attention and the celebrations of this very special milestone. After a steady decline in her health, and more so over the final week of her life, Maureen was to peacefully take her leave of this world last Monday, And we now find ourselves here today, paying tribute to the woman she has been and saying our final farewell. And so, family and friends, here we have the story of the life of Maureen, the experiences which were to shape the path her life was to take. Throughout the ages, the lighting of a candle has been a symbol of remembering those who have left this world. I have spoken of Maureen's lifetime, and so now the time has come for you to take a moment to reflect on the role that Maureen has played within your lives. And as the music plays, Kelly will come forward with some candles, and Maureen's grandchildren and great-grandchildren will come and light a candle in memory of Maureen and for all our loved ones who have walked the path which she is now set to follow. And as our candles continue to cast their glow over our time together, they remind us of our commitment to the memory of Maureen and to the memory of all our loved ones who have gone before. The events of our lives can influence the directions our lives are to take, but Maureen is much more than just the experiences of her lifetime. And so to share an insight into the woman that Maureen was are some of those who have known her best. And I would like to begin by inviting her son Glenn to come forward. Thank you, Glenn.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I mean, Mum would have loved it being the centre of attention. She always did. I'd like to thank Carlia, Georgia Lee and Lorraine for spending so much time in the end with Mum. I mean, she would have loved it. It was good. Mum was one of those people that she lit up a room when she laughed and smiled, and when you were a friend, you were a friend for life. She always looked through rosy-coloured glasses. She must have, because she had me as a son. no matter how much I could cock up, she'd just sit there and go, "You're all right, son." And the worst got, "No, it's all going well." Yeah, great stuff, you know. But that was the thing with Mum. She loved everyone. If she didn't like it, you knew about it straight away. She told you, and there was no coming back from it. I'd like to thank Mike for the endearing years he spent with Mum, the time he spent with her, supporting her, and showing her the love and respect that she deserved. To everyone, you know, if you know her, you were here. It's nice to see Rodney, because Val, his mum, was Mum's best friend through from the 70s right through. It was just a sign of respect that he actually came. I thank you from my heart for that, man. I really do. There's not much I could say. I mean, there's a lot of stories about Mum, you know, little things she used to do. I mean, she got on the back of one of my Harleys once. We took off, and she's on the back of it. She goes, "Oh, don't go around any corners." And I'm like, "Well, how do I go home?" You know, we just kept riding in a straight line, you know. It was just like, she wanted to get off, go around the corner, get back on again and go straight. So this is not going to work. But she survived it. She survived many things through grit, determination. Like, as she said, she was single mum, worked all her life for us, and gave us everything that we could ever want or need. So, you know, for that, I'm thankful. The only thing I can say now is, guys, you're in my key, for my mum's forever in my heart in Gaelic, and that's where she'll be. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. The bond between grandparents and their grandchildren is always a very special one. As we grow up, the times we spend with our grandparents often become some of the fondest memories we carry with us into our adulthood. So I'd now like to ask Maureen's son-in-law Alec to come forward and to share some thoughts on behalf of his daughters and Maureen's granddaughters, Kalia and Tennille. Thank you.
Okay, I'm reading this on behalf of Lorraine, my wife, Mum's daughter. Today we are here to celebrate my amazing mum. She was funny, strong, resilient, sweet, and naughty at times. Mum would give you a cheeky smile to get away with whatever she was planning. When she was in care after her fall, she hated to be supervised when walking. We told her that until the physio cleared her, that is how it was to be. Her comment was, "It's okay, I will give her wine and she will agree with me." Mum was our protector, and if you did anything against her children, grandchildren or great-grandchildren, Mum would be there and ready. When Sean joined the Defence Force, the kids said the IRA came out in her. Sean was not allowed to be deployed, and when she was told he had no choice, her comment was that he could not be deployed with broken legs. Mum's story of her time growing up made us laugh. One time she was going on a date with a guy, and as they drove past on the bridge in Athenrine, she noticed another guy waiting on the bridge that she was also meant to be meeting to go on a date with. In England, when she was living in a boarding house and stinking it out with hair removal, the landlady was not very happy and she got banned. At Christmas one year, her mum sent for a turkey for Christmas dinner. It arrived with its feathers and head still attached. Her partner in crime, I think it was either Auntie Maureen or Bid, had the turkey outside and were trying to cut its head off with an axe. There were bits of concrete flying everywhere as they couldn't look at it because they had their eyes closed. The turkey was then sent to the butcher to finish off as the head was still intact. In 1984, Mum returned to Ireland to visit her mum, and on one occasion went out with her brother Lemmy. Lemmy looked after Mum, and she was not allowed to buy any drinks. Mum was then given drink after drink from old school and family friends. When Mum got back to the house, Mum was very sloshed and was very unwell. The next morning, her mum was reading the riot act to Limmy at how he could get himself so drunk in front of his sister, and what would she think of him. He never corrected her, but just smiled a knowing smile at Mum, a bit like when Limmy and her brothers used to hide puncheon, which is very strong liquor, in the holy water at home. Mum always worked hard as she worried that Glenn and I would miss out. Mum, we never missed out on anything. Mum loved being a mother, a grandmother and great-grandmother. She was so proud of her family and was loyal to her friends and was loved by all. One night I remember when Glenn was about 15 or 16, Alec and I were at home with Mum, and there was a hell of a racket out in the street, yelling and screaming coming from outside. It sounded like some young boys carrying on and were obviously very drunk. Mum was disgusted at how a mother not knowing where their sons were and how could they let them out in that condition. Alec and I looked out the front door and looked at each other, knowing that it was in fact Glenn and his mates in the street. Mum did not find out about this until years later. If you heard, "That's nice," it meant that Mum had engaged her Mrs. Brown, and look out, she was not happy. Thank you, Mum, for all of your love, and know that you have made me the person I am today. I promise to look after Glenn and Mike for you. I know that towards the end you were tired and ready to meet the angels. I hope you enjoy the party with your family and friends, but don't let Limmy get you too drunk. Rest now, my darling Mum, until we meet again. And I'm also going to read on behalf of my eldest daughter, Carlia. She wanted to say a few words as well. I would like to share a few fond memories about my Nan, Maureen Stewart. Nan always treated us as if every one of her grandchildren were her favourites. She would spoil us with treats galore. My favourite was the ice cream squares wrapped in paper with ice magic. Some of my special memories are getting to spend school holidays with Nan just one-on-one. During these times, she would take us shopping. On one occasion, Nan and I went to the Caribbean market, where she brought me hermit crabs, much to Mum's horror. Nan also took me prom dress shopping, where I liked a fancy dress, but Nan really liked a black dress. When it came to buying the dresses, Nan sneakily brought the black dress, using the excuse, "You always need a little black dress," to justify herself. I ended up wearing this dress to my Year 12 valedictory, and Nan would be happy to know that Gemma is planning on wearing it at the end of this year for an Army Cadet formal dinner. As I got older, I would be allowed to go to work with Nan at the shoe shop. I did not save any of the money I earned, as my whole paycheck went on various new shoes each and every time. I clearly remember when we met Mike, I was not very thrilled with seeing this strange man hug and kiss my Nan on the cheek. However, he soon proved he was the grandfather we were missing, and we welcomed him into the family as Nan's loving partner, to which he earned the name Pop. When Nan and Pop moved to Newland Arms, it began a new journey of fun. We would visit and spend time running around on Angie's property, and enjoyed visiting their neighbour Rose, as she had ponies to pat and fruit veggies to pick. When Nan met my husband Clayton, she fell in love with him straight away and told him that now he was part of the family, she expected a kiss and hug, hello and goodbye every time. Nan was then blessed with our children Gemma and Jacob, which she greatly adored. This began the new era of G-Nan spoiling. Every time the kids visited, they would be stuffed full of chocolate, soft drink and ice cream. Gotta love that sugar high, Nan. She would also be very sneaky and put gold coins in their pockets before I could notice, and if I did, she would tell me, "It's my money and I will do as I wish with it." Nan even gave both Gemma and Jacob $20 when they lost their first tooth, stating that she was the G Nanny Tooth Fairy. As Nan got older, her health began to change. However, her mindset was that she could still do anything she wanted. I would visit, and each time it resulted in the conversation, "Why are you not using your walker? It is for your safety to stop from falling and hurting yourself." Due to my constant worrying, she rewarded me with several nicknames over the years, which included Bulldog and, towards the end, Sergeant. In the end, Nan suffered a nasty fall, which resulted in her being hospitalised for several weeks. During this time, I talked to Nan about the potential of going into aged care home. This, she stated, would never happen. Unfortunately, it did, but luckily enough, I was able to get Nan into Opal Sale Gardens where I worked. This way I could really keep an eye on my naughty Nan. Nan moved into the care community 14 months ago. This was a blessing and a curse, as Nan was settled safe and making new friends, but she was also separated from Pop. They enjoyed their visits once a week until Pop also came to stay recently. It was such a pleasure caring for Nan and watching her have the time of her life with her new friends. They would enjoy outings, conversations, and a glass of wine each night. Whilst Nan was in aged care, she continued to push her boundaries. Myself and the staff would often find her without the walker, rattling through her wardrobe, searching for the next outfit choice. This even extended to participating in her physio exercise group. She only participated when she knew I was in the building and would come and find her. This began the eye-rolling time. The first time Mum witnessed this, she was shocked, so much that she couldn't control her laughter. Needless to say, the eye-rolling never stopped from that point in time. The staff would always tell me how lovely she was, but also how naughty she could be. She would often laugh them off, and which worked far too often. She loved the nurses and carers like they were her extended family, and definitely had a very soft spot for several of the staff. As time went on, I began to notice Nan's health decline. It was only 2 weeks ago that Nan pulled me aside during one of my shifts to have a very serious conversation. She stated to me, matter of fact, that she was ready for the angels and was very tired. I sat and listened and told her I knew. This was when a pesky tear escaped, to which Nan told me off, stating, "Don't cry, you are my strong one." So I sucked it up, put on a brave face, to only then be graciously informed by Nan, "Don't worry, I am going to haunt you by tying a rope to you and following you everywhere." Well, Nan, I hope that rope is tight, because you are in for one hell of a ride. We will miss you greatly and will forever talk about you to the great-grandchildren, so your memory lives on. Rest peacefully, beautiful Nan, your loving granddaughter, Carly.
Thank you, Ellen, for sharing those tributes for us. For over 3 decades, Maureen was fortunate to have a very special man in her life, and this was, of course, Mike. It is now my pleasure to invite Mike's sister, Judy, to come and share some of Mike's recollections of his life with Maureen. Thank you, Judy.
Very scary standing up here. Mike once said to me a little while ago that Maureen saved him, and she did. He loved her dearly. He's missing her heaps. And I don't know what else to say except thanks, Mark, because that was just beautiful. I want to share something about the other side of Maureen, the Irish temper Maureen. I first met Maureen on my 50th birthday when Mike finally decided to introduce her to our family. And we hit it off immediately. It was the best thing. Maureen also met up with Bruce's mum Dawn, who was also Irish, so you can imagine the conversation there. They chatted about nonsensical things all night. Two lovely Irish ladies who got along so well because they were both beautiful people. Over the years, Maureen and I and the family grew very close. I only ever had one fight with her in all that time, and it was a doozy. Bruce and I were having a garage sale for a friend who had passed, selling his entire household stuff. We told Mike and Maureen about it, but they missed the date and said I hadn't told them. Consequently, I received the full Irish backlash. On and on she went, giving me the Irish temper that I'd heard about but never seen. I ended up having to leave, and it took about 2 weeks to get back to normal for that normal relationship. We never ever spoke of it again because I think we would have had to go again. To go 30 years with only one argument is not too bad. We will miss her and her sense of humour, but the memories are really, really good. On behalf of Mike and my family, rest in peace, Maureen. You're a beautiful person, and we'll miss you. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy, and thank you, Mike, and thank you to all of those who've prepared or read tributes for us today. It's not an easy thing to do, so thank you very much. Over the years, photographs have become the illustrations within the chapters of our lifetimes. From the old stage studio photos to the box brownie, Polaroids, and now the digital age where nearly every move we make is captured on a mobile phone. So let us now see the images which have been captured over the course of Maureen's life, both the old and the new. Those moments frozen in time, which now make up a pictorial chronicle of her life.
For you stole Trevelyan's corn, so the young might see the morn. Now a prison ship lies waiting in the bay. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young man calling. Nothing matters, Mary, when you're free. Against the famine and the crown, I rebelled, they cut me down. Now you must raise our child with dignity. Low lie the fields watched the last star falling as the prison ship sailed out against the sky. For she lived in hope and prayed for her love in Botany Bay. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the way. We had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields that
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rain fall softly on your fields, and until we meet again, may you keep safe in the gentle, loving arms of God. For everything there is a season, a time for meeting, a time to say goodbye. In all things, God's near, always guiding your way. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, upon your face. May the rain fall softly on your fields, and until we meet again, may you keep safe in the gentle, loving arms of God. For everything there is a season, a time for laughter, a time for tears and pain. In all things, God is near, always guiding your way. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rain fall softly on your fields, and until we meet again, may you keep safe in the gentle, loving arms of God.
79 or something.
Yeah, it's unreal, wasn't it?
At least United's about 172 or something.
Yeah.
Eat.
Yeah.
Nothing burps.
When is your mum picking you up? Is there a time she's picking him up or not?
Whenever she's finished.
Oh.
Wow, what a What a cake.
High five.
if I have to cut that, you're going to have to be there for a week.
Pull into it now.
Nearly.
Come on, you can do better than that.
What a wonderful collection of memories of the life and times of Maureen. I don't know if anyone else noticed that cheeky little grin as she was sneaking up in that last video. Very Maureen, I would think. Maureen will be remembered as a woman who did things her way and on her terms. A woman of determination and a keen sense of self. She has navigated the eras and events of her 9 decades in her own unique and forward-looking fashion. She had a wonderful sense of humour, enjoying the BBC comedies of the 1970s. But she could, however, be a little gullible on occasion. When asking Alec if Glenn's tomato plants were marijuana, which they weren't, Alec jokingly said they were. Taking him at his word and utterly horrified, Maureen stormed straight out into the garden and immediately started pulling them out. She was a woman of many different characteristics. She could be like a Mrs. Bucket, or should I say Bouquet, in keeping up appearances and making sure everything is just as it should be. But she could also be like Mrs. Brown in Mrs. Brown's Boys, relishing in the chaos and surprises of life. She was social by nature, and she certainly enjoyed a party. When Glenn was just 15, they attended a function with Lorraine and Alec. Maureen played host and bought drinks for them all evening. However, she did not realise that the cider that she was buying for Alec and her underage son was alcoholic until they were both extremely drunk. Maureen enjoyed celebrating the milestones with her family and friends, and she most definitely knew how to have fun. She took pride in her appearance and liked to dress up when the occasion called for it. Working in shoe shops, she had developed a liking for shoes, and she would regularly go to the hairdressers, as many ladies of her era did. When catching a glimpse of herself as mother of the bride at Lorraine and Alec's wedding, she was heard to say, "Damn, I look good." And she did. Maureen was a true and loyal friend. She did not have a large social circle beyond her family. She didn't need one. But what she did have was a collection of dear friends whose friendships have spanned multiple decades, from school friends in Ireland to colleagues and neighbours. The fact that Maureen maintained these long associations shows her dedication and the importance that she placed on these relationships. Now, we have only begun to scratch the surface of the many facets of the woman that you have known as Maureen, and you will each hold on to those aspects of her nature which have resonated most strongly with you. But of all the aspects of Maureen's character, she will perhaps be remembered most for her love and devotion to her family. It is her love for her family, especially her children, Lorraine and Glenn, which have formed the foundation of the life that Maureen was to live. In doing her best and working hard to give them every opportunity she could, including leaving her family and friends behind in Ireland, Maureen was able to secure a stable and promising future for them, and in turn for the 2 generations of her family which have followed. A lasting legacy which will continue to resonate throughout their lives and the lives of the next generation of the family of which she was so proud. Her relationship with Mike had given Maureen a happy, supportive and secure home life in her autumn years. Their relationship, although coming about a little later in life, has endured longer than many other partnerships, and this is a testament to their devotion to one another. The relationship that you have shared with Maureen is yours and yours alone, and you will carry this with you long after the sun has set on this very special day. The memories you have created with Maureen now form a deeply personal legacy which she now leaves with each of you. Remember Maureen and share your stories with others. It is often the nature of a funeral that we come away having learnt something new about a person, despite perhaps having known them for many years. The same can happen with the time that we spend together over refreshments, swapping stories which will further cement your ideas of the Maureen you have known, or they may even open up a whole new avenue of appreciation for this remarkable woman. In a moment, we will be bringing our service in celebration of Maureen's life to a close and saying our final farewells. To those of you here with me in the chapel, you are invited to come forward and pay your respects to Maureen and place a flower in honour of her, should you wish to do so. To those of you who have been watching our service from afar, be it live in this moment or at a later time, we thank you for being with us in spirit. We hope that by watching in that this has helped you to say farewell to Maureen in your own personal way. Once again, family and friends, I thank you all for your presence and your support for Maureen's family by being here, and for the many kind messages they have received during the past week. And please know that each and every one has been truly appreciated. Maureen had been brought up in the Catholic faith, and although she was not a parishioner of a particular church, her faith was something she carried privately with her. She took comfort in the belief that she will be reunited with her loved ones once more, and for those of us she now leaves behind, that this is not goodbye, but until we meet again. And so it is in respect of this that I ask those who wish to join me as I now say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Maureen's story has now reached its closing chapter, and the time has come for her to rest. We thank her for the love that she has given to her family. We thank her for her fine example of loyalty to one's friends. We thank her for showing us how hard work and determination can enrich the experience of our lives. May Maureen's spirit soar and take its place in the embrace of the heavens. And may Maureen now and forever rest in peace.
Through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and the sweet silver song of the bird. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain. For your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never
know I have. Yeah. I'm still in the unit. Next to where they live.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Terry.
Yes, that's right. Oh, when he was dropping back in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Coming up to the RSL? Yeah, alright, me too. I just want to go to the Oh, that's good. I'm glad. Yeah. Too big a drive. Perfect.
And of course I met him through Maureen, years ago. I left the gully and came down here. And of course, well, we've always visited, you know what I mean? Never lost touch. I remember the day he came into the kitchen in the morning. He said, Jim, you sound all right. I said, you're right.